Welcome to Haunted Homebodies, where Halloween isn't just a day, it's a lifestyle. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Sarah, and we're your guides through the delightfully dark corners of comfort horror.
Grab your noodles and hide behind a nook.
It's time to sleep all day and party all night.
Yeah, party time. I don't know why every time I'm like hyped up by our intro that I wrote, I'm like, yes, party!
Moments before we do our intro, every time we're like, oh, I feel like we didn't nail it. And then we do it. We're like, this was awesome.
We're like, I'm so pumped up for today's episode.
It gets us in the mood. It really
that's
sets
true.
the tone for
It
us.
does. It does. We come for the silly cringe vibes, and we're sticking with an absolute classic today. We're talking about The Lost Boys. This is a movie that comes up time and time again in the horror community, in particular, like this corner of horror community that appreciates the cozier side. So I am super excited to be talking about this movie today. You haven't seen The Lost Boys?
I
We've established
had
that.
not seen The Lost Boys before. This was my first time.
Give us just like a little taste, Sarah. Are you in favor? Are you moderate?
Like mostly upset that I didn't know Jason Patrick existed until now. Like I have lost out on a lot of good years knowing who that man is.
Wait, who is that man?
He's the main guy who gets turned into a vampire, but
that's
doesn't.
The actor who plays Michael.
Michael, that's his name.
Okay, yeah. I want to kick this discussion off by noting something he talks about in this episode that I never noticed before. You know, sometimes you can see a movie a bunch of times, but like not really watch it.
Yeah.
He was talking to Star and acknowledging that Star's name is Star. And it's a little bit different. And says something about like, oh, you too. And in my head, I'm like, your name is Michael. But then he goes on to say that his parents were considering like, what was it, like Moonbeam or something? I don't know if you caught this.
Super wacky. Yeah.
And then I'm like, how do they go from Moonbeam to Michael?
And his little brother's name's Sam.
Yeah.
But his mom is like a total weirdo hippie who I adore.
Same. Best part of the movie to meet her and her father. The grandpa is so funny.
And I do want to acknowledge that is Diane Wiest, who is in Practical Magic. She's one of the aunts in Practical Magic.
She's fantastic. I dare to say she might be a little bit of a scream queen, but just in like a...
She's like a cozy horror
scream mom. Yeah, we don't know queen. Oh, that word sounds wrong, but it's okay.
And it is wrong.
Well, that is true. That is not the word. Oh, boy.
It's my first time, but like absolutely perfect for it to be the second episode in our vampire theme.
Yeah.
So we kicked off last week with Buffy. We got some similarities we will talk about between Buffy and the Lost Boys.
Yes.
But it's good, and it's so interesting to me that it's talked about so much in this like cozy horror community, because there are pieces of it that are super cozy, but then it's like also pretty gory in parts of it compared to most of what we watch.
It's true. It's an interesting kind of gore. Like, I feel like it's kind of well done in this movie in a way, especially for being 1987. I feel like the effects are good. Like, but then there's also a super campy, like, just side to the way that it's shot. It's so like 80s fever dream for sure. But then I also like how they do some workarounds. Like, they're not showing the vampires flying. Like we're gonna talk about Twilight, and let's just talk about the first Twilight and I guess you'd call them practical effects they did to make like Edward fast or to jump up on trees, you know, the whole spider monkey montage that is just so silly. And I think
but Twilight kind of ruined this movie for me, because during the scenes where they have made the correct choice to not show that, where there'll be like a person that's like looking up and screaming and you like understand the vampires, I could picture them moving like the Twilight vampire.
I actually did have a moment like that too, where I thought of Twilight and I was like, I'm just imagining Kiefer Sutherland like suspended on a rope and just being like, rah. Oh man. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Well,
well, let's talk about the
let's intro the movie. Let's tell you about it.
let's do it. So, The Lost Boys was released on July 31st, 1987. What a great day to release this movie. It's such a fun summer watch, even though I think
Yes.
this will be released in the fall, but it's okay. We're still going to be in the summer spirit.
Yeah.
This movie's great year round. It was rated 7.2 out of 10 on IMDb, has a 75% critic score and an 85% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty solid.
Deserved.
Yeah, I agree. It's currently streaming on Roku TV, wherever you can rent anything. And if you are like me, you have it on VHS. That's how I watched it. It was fun.
Oh, I didn't know you had this one on VHS
It's
too.
a
That's
recent
awesome.
addition. It's a recent addition. I went back and forth on getting it, and we're gonna get just like a little dark and sad, then we're gonna get back into the fun.
Okay.
I know, because I just can't, like, I love this movie, but it makes me a little bit sad because of certain Hollywood, like, bigger picture
Yeah.
things.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly talking about Corey Haim and, his story, and what is it, Corey Feldman,
Mm-hmm.
the Coreys. I'm like,
The
Corey.
Corys. Yeah.
And they just both have really sad stories. Corey Haim
Mm-hmm.
has passed on after, like, struggling with drug addiction, and they both just were horribly treated as child actors, like, beyond anything that, like, I want to get into here, but that just, like, always, like, weighs a little bit heavy. And
Mm-hmm.
from what I understand, like, nothing to do with this film. This is actually where they met and became friends and were very close for many years, which is really sweet.
Yeah.
But just it just was a damper on it, and there's just so many things. Like, you think just talking about movies, it's gonna be this lighthearted, fun time, but there's so many times here where we're like, "Ugh, but this thing," and it just, like, kind of this
Yeah.
elephant in the room for me that, like, just makes the watch a little bit harder, but I still appreciate them both as actors. I think they're fantastic in
They're
this film.
so good.
So good, and I think this movie has such a great mix of these iconic, recognizable actors and actresses. Is the thing, or we just, like, say actors? Is that, like, what we do
Yeah,
now? Okay.
technically, yeah, that
Yeah.
works.
Okay. That's like a
Yeah.
more progressive.
I don't think it's more progressive. I think grammatically that would be the
That
correct way to
literally just
encompass all of
works.
them, which is not woke because the
Okay.
male anyway.
Yeah. I
Actors
just like
is fine.
I just had like a thing where I was like, am I
Performers.
right? I'm like, is it weirder to be like doing this or not doing this? Anywho, we'll try to rein me back in here. But I think that mix is really fun in this, where, like, I don't know, I just learned 5 seconds ago what the actor's name who played Michael is, but he's great. He's
He's so
great. And then
good.
there's other more recognizable, like we talked about Diane Wiest already, and
Kiefer.
Kiefer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Truly.
Not me. That he would be like the main vampire lead in this movie.
And he's so angsty.
So good.
Yeah.
So why don't you
Yeah.
read the synopsis for us, for anyone who has not seen it, which besides you, you are probably the last person.
I
So.
truly think so. Truly. All right. Teenage brothers Michael and Sam move with their mother to a small town in Northern California. While the younger Sam meets a pair of kindred spirits in geeky comic book nerds Edward and Alan, the angst-ridden Michael soon falls for Star, who turns out to be enthralled to David, leader of a local gang of vampires. Sam and his new friends must save Michael and Star from the undead.
Whew. Yeah, that about sums it up. Also, I want to say that Edward and Alan are the Frog Brothers.
Frog Brothers.
Their names are literally Edward Frog and Alan Frog, the Frog Brothers.
And Edgar Allan.
Yes,
Like
also
Poe.
that. Yeah. Also
needed to spell that out.
Oh, tricky. Other thing that I learned in this I prepared for this podcast a little bit. Can you believe that? I prepared.
Wow.
I read things. I read Wikipedia and then like a couple other things. I know. Because I was just like wondering, I always like to keep pulse on it. Like, are we still in favor of this movie? Is there something that I'm not viewing from, like, my straight white girl lens with clarity that I should be? And there is some controversy over the messaging in this movie in regards to um people thinking that it is very what's the word? Queer coded. I'm like, what am
Okay,
I?
so I did no research except texting a friend of mine about this. So
Yeah.
you may tell us your research, and then I am going to read the text message that he sent me because it is very worthwhile.
Great. Love it. So once I read it, I was like, oh yeah, like queer code, like people are just like, it's gay. Like this is a gay
That is
movie.
exactly it.
So it's like, okay, I totally see it because people are saying maybe not even like maybe queer is the better term for it, but the saying that Michael is initially attracted to Star and then meets what is Kiefer Sutherland's character?
David, apparently. I don't remember hearing that once.
No, I'm like, it's
No.
Kiefer.
Yeah.
Vampire
You have a way
boy.
better vampire name.
Right. But then like meeting David and feeling really attracted to him, and then that there's this like confusing push and pull about like his feelings, and then the controversy comes in to be like what happens later. So that it's kind of saying that the him becoming a vampire and then like his family rejecting him and then them treating it like this horrible thing is like his family rejecting him for like these queer feelings, which I kind of see. And then there
Oh.
also was this interesting connection that people were making between the AIDS epidemic and the drinking and exchanging of bodily fluids. And then I learned a little bit more about, I know this is getting intense,
Whoa.
about the director of this movie was an openly gay man. And like this is literally from his Wikipedia page. I feel like I should maybe just read it. But he was like outwardly telling everyone that he was extremely promiscuous. Uh, saying that he estimates in his life that he had between 10,000 and 20,000 sexual partners in his life.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Joel
So
Schumacher.
he was very open about like his concern, like his feeling that he was like most certainly going to contract AIDS just
Okay.
because of his lifestyle, and
Uh-huh.
that didn't end up happening. But
Hmm.
I feel like that added this really interesting layer because you could say like, oh, people are just watching this film and they're just like reading things into it, and then you learn about the people behind the film, and you're like, seems like yeah, there
Like
was
you shouldn't
some
read into it.
there was some thoughts there that we can't deny that oh, this man wasn't thinking about anything queer happening in this film. So then I think people with Michael ending up with Star at the end and then that just being like them presenting just this straightforward heterosexual romance just is like kind
Yeah.
of blah to a lot of people, despite most fans still being like, I love this movie, but like, it's not
Yeah.
a like I reject this movie, it's terrible. It's like a this could have really been something.
So I wonder though if they went that direction, if like it wouldn't have been as successful when it came out. Like maybe it would have reached cult classic now, but maybe it like kind of would have disappeared if they had done something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I think that's a whole nother discussion when you talk about a product of the time. And it's like, was that an excuse to be like, well, they probably couldn't have, like, people in
Yeah.
the, production realm would have been like, no, that's too much if they had
Yeah.
been, straightforward with some of the themes. But I think part of the problem was like, okay, not that you didn't just go there all the way, making this like a truly queer film, but also that just some of the metaphors and like representation that you could glean from that is just not super positive for the community.
Yeah. Yeah.
But tell me your friends, tell me your
Yeah.
friends' take. I'm curious.
Okay, so this is from my friend Alexand, who has been mentioned on the podcast before because huge fan of Practical Magic, which is what we were texting about last night because we were
Oh,
texting. Well, actually, Alexand made a Jillian Owens themed playlist on Spotify, but
incredible. Love
yeah,
it.
truly, and he's amazing. And then I was talking about Lost Boys because Practical Magic, Diane Wiest is in both. And he said I said, have you seen it? He said, yes, I love that movie so much. It's like very gay, LOL. Like, if they made that movie the way they wanted to, Kiefer Sutherland and Jason Patric would have had at least one sexy moment when Jamie Gertz was taking care of her little brother, ? And that's on By Erasure.
Yes. Yeah, I think that sums it up perfectly.
Yeah.
It really felt like it could have been incredible, with just like one additional
or like
scene,
maybe they could have like alluded to it more.
Yeah, a little more.
Yeah.
But I guess the way that you view it though, if you watch it through that lens, maybe you see the flirtation more. Like I wasn't really looking for that, but then thinking back on it, I'm like, oh yeah. Oh yeah, because he was literally, because the way they I was reading about it was like that David was like literally seducing, like that is what vampires do, right? It's like he had no reason to like what was Michael doing for him? Like he wanted to bring him in.
Yes.
Right? And then Michael, he just really liked Star. It's like, okay,
like
I
literally
guess.
just saw her from across a concert and then all of a sudden like immediately they're like, I care so much about you.
I know, but okay, so let's talk about the concert, because before we watch this movie, it's like, you're gonna love it. There is a like greased up man playing the saxophone.
You did warn me about the saxophone. There's a lot of gyrating.
It was not a warning. This was like a celebration. This was a celebration. like that. There are so many moments in this movie, and I think it's why I love it so much, that it's like, what, this didn't need to be in here. Like, that did not.
Yeah.
That was the moment that they saw each other and were like making eyes at each other, but like that could have been anywhere. That could have been on the boardwalk. Someone could have been getting on a ride.
Yes.
Like, no, it was this elongated, like written for the movie performance, and like it had no business going that hard. I love it so much.
I'm glad. I just loved the boardwalk scenes.
Yeah.
Like, boardwalks are so cozy. I have not been to a Northern California boardwalk. My boardwalk experience is really East Coast based, but I loved it.
Yeah. I think that this may have been, the town of Santa Clara is not real, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure it was based on Santa Cruz.
It was filmed in Santa Cruz.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense, because like I've been there. It definitely reminds me of that vibe. Well, let's talk about how it is in the movie, the murder capital of America. And we talked about how much we love, what is Diane's character's name? We need a sheet. Their mother. That's what it says in the description. Okay, so the mom. I don't know her name. I can't remember it, but she brings them to this town. I'm sure she has good reasons. Part of it is because her dad lives there. She's recently gotten divorced, but she just is like, they all know, everyone's talking about how it's the murder capital of the world. All of these like teens and children have gone missing. And she's like, have fun on the boardwalk. Like,
I know.
See you later.
Like, I mean, it is implied that like it's not implied. Like her and her dad, her name's Lucy, by the way.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, had to look it up. Like they have a conversation about how she like doesn't have any money after the divorce. He's like, you're the only woman who hasn't profited from a divorce or something like that. But like, there's still like children out everywhere on their own on the board. Like this does not look like the murder capital of the world. This is not like Baltimore, Maryland, back when Baltimore was
anywhere
terrifying.
That just like a place that's called the murder capital of the world. Like you're gonna have your kids on a short leash, you would think, but no, everyone's just like at their communal concert, hanging out on the boardwalk. And we very clearly get into like, yes, this is a dangerous place, because Michael immediately gets caught up with the people who are murdering people because they're vampires, and people get killed like pretty quickly. In this movie, they're not like, keeping it a secret. Like, oh, it just like, it seems like every night someone's getting murdered because the vampires, they gotta eat,
And we don't like get any like news reports or like police looking for missing people.
No.
Like that's not the plot of this movie.
No, none of that. It's just running rampant with vampires. Oh man.
Well, speaking of the vampires, so last week in the Buffy episode, we talked about the vampires getting ugly.
Yes.
So what were your thoughts about that in this movie?
Getting
Because they're like
deformed.
identical in this movie. It's
Yes.
like Buffy obviously just stole
took
the
a
vampire
strong
look. Yeah.
inspiration. That is exactly what I thought, because I, as you know, had not seen Buffy, and I was kind of familiar that the vampires looked similarly. But rewatching them both back to back, I was like, that is the same. It's the
Identical.
same exact thing. I don't know. I still don't know exactly how I feel about it. Another, I don't know if I'd call it plot hole, but thing that like made me a little bit like, huh, is that there's all these missing posters for these people that are, and so like for the people who have died because the vampires have killed them, like okay, but like there's a missing poster of the child, like no, like, and he looks the same when he's not all vamped out, you know, so it's like they're just walking by these posters and just nobody notices, like nobody cares. I don't know.
So like this movie was super insular in what it considered for the plot. Like
Yeah.
and I think I appreciate that about it. It didn't try to like paint a larger picture of what the town was going through. It didn't even listen, I made it this far into the episode without talking about the end of the movie, which is like pretty good for me.
That's pretty
The
good.
end of the movie doesn't even like try to wrap anything up. It is a completely abrupt ending after the big battle. Like, and then it's they've got a funny line and it's over.
Yeah.
So like they're not concerned with any larger story than they show up in town, Michael almost gets turned into a vampire, they battle, and they're done. Like, it is, that's it.
That's true. I kind of like that about it, too, because it almost gives this, like, theme park feel, like, aside from it being on the boardwalk with all this, it's like you're in this really contained environment, and it's as if it's not the real world, even though it's supposed to be the real world with one detail changed in that there's vampires in it. But aside from the grandpa's house and the boardwalk, like that, and the cave, the vampire cave, but it does feel like almost this fantasy setting where we're like in this like Whoville type, you know, like we could zoom out and we're in a drop of blood and there's this whole universe in the drop of blood. It feels like that, not like it's actually happening in California somewhere.
Like I think this movie would have been ruined by like, I mean, I feel like they're remaking it. Like I feel like I saw a headline like there was going to be a TV show and that got scrapped. Maybe that was a movie, but like I just feel like it's going to take itself too seriously. It's going to try to be like a gritty detective story or something.
Yeah.
It's going to zoom out too much and it's going to ruin a little bit of what was special. Plus, it won't be an 80s movie, which is what made this movie.
Yes. If they somehow could pull it off, I feel like it would have to be like a Stranger Things type scenario where they're recreating the 80s. I don't know. I think that we are often not in favor of reboots and remakes, but I completely agree with you. I don't see how you could make this one because it has this like special sauce to it. Like it shouldn't work. This movie should not really work. I mean, there's really not a whole lot of plot. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like there's just nothing really tying this movie down aside from vibes, you know? It's like that's enough for us.
Yeah. Like and it tries a couple of times. Like there's the weird thing on the boardwalk where there's like ear piercing available and then Star's like, I can do it for you. And then Jason Patrick shows up with his like really cool 80s dangly earring.
Yeah.
And so they're like, look, it was
fully healed.
Yeah, fully
healed.
He is kind of a vampire. I'm still like, actually, let's talk about this.
The vampire lore.
Yeah, the vampire lore does not match up with any other vampire lore I am familiar with.
I had to I knew we were going to be talking about this movie. I was like, I have to Google it because I don't understand actually the logistics of like even why we haven't talked about yet the fact that Mr. Gilmore is in this movie.
Yes.
Great character.
Yes.
Amazing performance. I did not understand. We find out at the end. We'll talk about the end again. It's revealed that he is, in fact, the head vampire. But we've been thrown off the trail of this because he was able to, like, eat garlic, have holy water. Like, the Frog Brothers and Sam, the little brother, put him through the paces of, like, we think it might be this guy. and he passed all the tests.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I didn't like how.
I don't know. And also, like, the other big thing is Michael and Star becoming vampires, but not fully becoming vampires, but they can do the full transformation.
Yeah.
But then they were okay at the end. Like, I'm
I
like
know.
very lost.
Okay, I'm going to tell you because I looked it all up.
Thank you.
I looked it up because I was like, one of us has to know, and I've watched this so many times, it should be me. Okay, so the reason why, I literally do not know I need a cheat sheet, the characters. So Richard Gilmore.
Edward Herman is the actor's name. The character's name is Max. I just have the IMDb page up right now.
They have all of the most basic names aside from Star. Star is the only one I can remember. Go figure.
Know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the reason why Max, he actually explains this. There's a very brief line where he explains why he was able to go into the house and pass all of these tests.
Well, he was invited in the house.
Yes.
He does. I do remember that.
So that apparently... She's so excited. She's like, I know. I pay attention in class. Okay. So because he was invited into, like, the vampire lore as we know it is that you can't go into the house unless you're invited, right?
Yeah.
We grew up with Vampire Diaries. That's how the story goes.
I've never seen Vampire Diaries.
Give me a break.
Never.
How are we doing this podcast? This is insane. Okay. So he explains that because he was invited in by Michael, that I don't know if it was because it was Michael specifically or just because he was invited in, but that eliminated, like, while in that house, any of that. It doesn't really make sense, but they do explain it.
Okay. All right.
The next point is that because he's the head vampire, when he dies, right, all the other vampires die. They're all pretty much dead by the time they get around to killing him. The reason why those 3 are okay is because they have not killed anyone.
Okay. Michael was supposed to be who Star was gonna kill, but then everyone was really attracted to him, so it didn't happen.
Right.
Yeah.
That sounds right. I don't remember that, but that sounds right.
No, Star says something along those lines, like, you were supposed to be my first.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I got swept away in the innuendo and then the really awkward sex scene.
Wait, can we talk about how the Vampire Cave has a Jim Morrison poster in it?
The Vampire Cave is a whole vibe. Like,
it is.
I love that they were like, these are teenage vampires in the 80s. It's like filthy. There's posters. It's perfect. It's perfect. The one thing in regards to that I feel like is missing, but like they really go hard on a lot of the character development in this, and I appreciate that, but we don't get to know really the other 3 vampires.
No, like,
is there 3 or 2? There's 3, I think. Yeah, see, I don't even know how many, but they're just literally following him around, and we learned that one's name it was just more vampires to kill and have more action. Like, but that could have been more fun. But they really did a lot in this movie in terms of like helping us get to know the characters and trying to explain some of this stuff. Was there anything else that I didn't get to in terms of the vampire lore? So there's also something about like the really fake looking blood that Michael drinks, I guess, was Kiefer Sutherland's character. David's. Was David's blood. So there's something about that, like it being, the vampire blood transforms you into a vampire without...
I've seen that in other things.
Yeah.
But okay, speaking of him drinking the blood.
Yeah.
This is my biggest bone to pick with this movie. Because I've always got at least one. So David's been tricking him with like the Chinese food that looks like bugs, which was like really gross. That really grossed me out.
The worms,
So then by the time he hands him the bottle and starts like, don't drink it, it's blood, Jason Patrick is like, haha, no, it's not.
Right.
And then he drinks it anyway, even though she's like clearly distressed.
Yes.
And then later he is yelling at Star and he's like, why didn't you tell me that was blood?
Agreed, 100%. Also, what did it taste like?
I know.
You were just like, yum, yum.
And he chugged
Vampire blood? Chugged it. A whole bottle of what looked like I don't know, cherry cola.
Yeah.
It was like cherry flavored water. It did not look like blood. That was my biggest bone to pick. But
Yeah.
I agree. Their whole relationship was like clearly an afterthought. Like there was nothing to it.
Well,
Nothing
Star
there.
was an afterthought. So, like, one of the first
Yeah.
things that I wrote in my notes for this is like Star is giving manic pixie dream girl energy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
she has
very shallow.
Yeah, she has no backstory of
Right.
her own. She shows up like to set off plot points and to change the main character's life.
Right.
We don't learn anything more about her as we go on. They are magically in love based on not knowing each
Nothing.
other at all.
I'm just thinking about everything that we've talked about, and now I'm going to ask you to do an exercise with me.
Okay.
Imagine this movie where she does not exist. And like, think of it how like that would have been probably the movie that the director dreamed of. Like, he doesn't see her, he sees David, and then the rest of the movie happens.
He could have like seen David's motorcycle and thought the motorcycle was cool, and we would have had the same movie.
Could have just seen like there could have been interactions even with just the friends. Like, it didn't even have to be like overtly like a sexual attraction. Like, it could have just been like, I don't have friends, they look cool and edgy, and like I maybe feel like had a boring life in Arizona, and now I want to like live it up in the murder capital.
He was looking for a
of the
job.
country.
Maybe they were offering him a job.
Yeah, she didn't need to exist. I mean, I didn't not like her. But
no, not at all. I didn't dislike her.
She wasn't the worst female character in an 80s movie.
I wouldn't say she was written poorly. She just like wasn't written.
Right. Yeah. We could imagine that she has a story, and she does have some redeeming qualities. Like, she takes this kind of like maternal, like protective over like the little kid vampire.
Yeah.
Like, other people are just trying to kill him. He's a vampire. She's like, no, this is like a literal child. Stay away from him.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she had some stuff, but that was completely unfair to get back to her original point.
Yeah. She tried to warn you, dude. I get why you didn't believe her, but you can't yell at her after.
Yeah, I don't know if that, like, we got into this in the Buffy episode too about the thrall, you know? So how much was Michael under the spell of David? Does he even remember what happened? Like, you said he was messing with his mind the whole time. So, like, how much, like, was he convincing him that the blood was soda? It tasted like soda. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. But yeah. Does he not even remember that? That would be the only excuse for him then yelling at his, I guess we'll call her his girlfriend.
Yeah, I mean.
Why didn't you? I mean, they made up. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah.
They made up.
Yeah.
They forgave each other and then boned in a cave. So I haven't said boned on the podcast in a while.
I thought you were going to say ever, and I was like, no, I'm pretty sure you have.
Yeah, at least twice. At least.
It's, I mean, when you talk about horror movies, that is a common through line among them all. It is,
especially in the 80s. And this is an interesting category of horror, and that's mostly what we're working with, right? It's like, I wouldn't necessarily be like, oh, this is clearly a horror film. It's like a romance. Like, I feel like they try to present it as a romance then with just a like random vampire gore and action. There's a good bit of action, but it's a very similar to Practical Magic in that way. It's like very genre blendy.
It really
There's mystery. It's a bit of a whodunit in the end. We don't know exactly who the head vampire is. That's their whole quest throughout most of the movie. It's really bizarre.
Yeah, and I mean, if I have other bones to pick, it's the whole like Max constantly telling the kids, you're not supposed to be in here, to like throw us off the trail, but for like no reason. So unnecessary. That being said, Max was an incredibly charming character before we found out he was the head vampire 3 minutes before the movie ended.
Right.
And like that was well done. So it was surprising to me.
I think it was a teeny bit unfair where they kind of like made up rules in order to have him be the vampire, but it did surprise me, and I thought it was a good twist in that way that he was so charming and likable, aside from Thorn, who the Frog Brothers call a hellhound at one point. Sweet little Thorn. I still don't fully understand why Thorn tried to attack the mom that one scene. just because he is a hellhound.
Maybe it was like their attempt at foreshadowing. It was that and Max having to ask to be invited in. But again, he did it in a very charming way where I thought they were just alluding to like the fact that Michael was becoming a vampire.
Yeah. What did you think of the whole, once Michael is a vampire, the whole scene with him and his brother, and is like he's trying to attack his brother at one point. He's like floating out the window at one point. Like that whole scene was wild.
Yeah.
It made no sense. And it was another part where it was like, it felt a little bit like filler. But yeah, it was just
like kind of a goofy movie. It was. I mean, it's a very goofy movie.
Okay, so this was extremely campy, which usually is right up your alley.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
I'm all for this movie. I'll absolutely watch it again. I love it.
I was gonna say this, like, I feel like I'm still getting to know your movie taste to a degree because we're adults now, and most of the things we watched are as actual children, and like things have changed. I was like, I feel like she's really gonna like this one. Like, this seems very much up your alley.
I have a small tangent to go on. While we were talking about you trying to understand my taste and Tremors still being what throws you off, I read this thing about how, okay, so you remember the stupid pole vaulting between the rocks scene in Tremors? Yeah. What they're pole vaulting with are the stake posts that they were using to build the fence at the beginning of the movie. See, like, this is my problem with Tremors. It's a bad movie that had so much thought put into it.
But why is that a bad thing to you? That's cool.
That
they made it try to make sense?
Because then I feel like it's good, but it's not great. It's too much. It's broken my brain, actually.
And you have now broken mine.
Yes.
That did not bring me any more clarity on the situation. So,
but it did bring you a new Tremors fun fact.
No, that's really cool.
Yeah. Okay. Like back to the Lost Boys. Tremors was like how many weeks ago at this point? 10. It's a 10 episodes.
How have we been gabbing just all nonstop about
We've been
movies.
gabbing for 30 years, Ashley.
What is it? What's the cool word that they say now?
If it's cool, I don't know.
Right. What did you say that something? Oh, it was when we were talking about I Know What You Did Last Summer. We were saying that it was giving things. We've been yapping.
Yapping. We have been yapping.
Yep. We yap.
Okay, I have two more things on the Lost Boys.
Okay, hit me.
They are just fun little tidbits. One is that I can't believe I forgot to bring this up when I was like, aren't they rebooting it? And maybe they're not. They are making it a Broadway musical. It is going to be on Broadway in 2026.
Did you know the song Cry Little Sister was made for this movie?
That explains why they played it so many times.
Yeah, true. I thought that was its own thing, though. It's a banger. I love it. Yeah. So I guess that, and then I hope the saxophone scene is like really celebrated in this musical. I could see it being a musical. It had a really fun soundtrack.
We might have to take a field trip to New York.
Okay, yeah, I'm down.
I mean, how many like horror Broadway shows are there? Phantom of the Opera, Lost Boys.
I really don't like musicals, but I'm 100% in for this.
Yeah, it better have 80s music. Yes. I'll be so pissed
if it's modernized. I will probably walk out. You'll have to like hold me down.
Yeah.
Unless I have a snack, and then I'll stay.
I think we'll do our research. We won't go if it's not.
It's not like 80s. We're not going opening night.
Yeah. Okay. My other little. This is just like a funny little thing. So I listen to Amy Poehler's podcast a lot. This is related, I promise.
Okay.
I think it's super cute. And Adam Scott was on the most recent episode. Adam Scott, who played her love interest in Parks and Rec. Or did you watch Parks and Rec?
Yeah.
I mean, like, who hasn't watched Parks and Rec? And Adam Scott was talking about, he is from Santa Cruz, and he was talking about, again, this was like literal days ago, being in Santa Cruz when the Lost Boys filmed there, and like having a connection to someone on set, and like going visiting and like seeing the Coreys and like watching it being filmed was just like a really cool experience he had, and the timing was just hilarious. So I just wanted to share that.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
The Coreys, man, they're so great in this, and I just love that
they are. And like Corey Feldman just continues to blow me away.
I
like
know.
the talent that he had as a child
Yes.
is unbelievable.
Unbelievable. He's so good. We've already covered, what, 2 of his movies at least? The
Yeah, we
Goonies,
just
this
had
one.
this is just our second.
But there are like several. Like we will talk about Corey Feldman again. He's great.
Yeah. And he like barely had any lines in this, and he stole every scene he was in.
Yeah. Yeah. Big fan of his work.
Yeah. Well, should
Oh,
we end this podcast as abruptly as the movie ended?
Yeah. Can you deliver the final line? Because it's really good.
The final line of the Lost Boys?
Yeah. Or whatever the grandpa says. I feel like you need to say it. I love the grandpa. I don't know if I talked about it enough.
We did not talk about it enough.
Let's talk about him really quick.
Yes.
How he is playing dead upon arrival. Talk about, I can never say this word correctly. Eccentric. He's eccentric.
Yes.
He is the definition. Don't make me say it again, but he's the definition of that word to a T. And they show up from out of town. He's playing dead amongst his
time.
What is it called when you upholster animals?
Taxidermy. Upholster animals. The great description.
Oh gosh, yeah. We need to. So he used, what was it, Febreze or something? No,
Windex.
It was like Windex for cologne. What else did he do? He doesn't have a TV, but he has a TV guide. And he says, you don't need a TV if you have a TV guide.
Yes, that was great. He's trying to woo some widow down the street with a taxidermied dog.
Oof.
It's like a Pekingese
was it her dog?
Unclear.
Oh gosh. Well, he's a winner, and he has the iconic closing line, which you'll now deliver for us, because you are our actor in residence, apparently. Congrats.
Usually it's you.
I know, I'm taking the night off. I can't. I just said that animals got upholstered, so I'm done. I'm done.
All right. He says, one thing about living in Santa Carla that I never could stomach, all the damn vampires.
Oh,
and
such a
scene
good line.
and movie. The end.
I love that line that it shows. Like, he just like knew.
Yeah.
He never says it's vampires the entire time. We learn. He knows what's going on. He ultimately is the one who defeats the head vampire.
It also
so
to
good.
me breaks that little bubble that we were just talking about to show like maybe everybody knew about the vampires this whole time, and like we just weren't shown. And I don't know. I like it.
I like it too.
Mm-hmm.
It was very abrupt, but it was fun.
Truly,
at the same time.
Big bloody battle. They just wrecked that man's house.
Yeah,
and then he goes to get a root beer. And it's over.
It just feels so right. It feels so right.
Yeah.
Great kills too. I mean,
oh yeah.
I'm never like, oh, I'm here for the kills, but they're fun in this movie. They're creative.
You're never like that? I feel like you're often like that.
Never. I just talk about it a lot. But like, if no one ever died again, I'd be like, this is great.
Okay. All right.
I want the threat of death, but I don't like the circle of life, or we've talked about that. I think you said you're fine with it. Like, it's funny because you're the vegetarian. Yeah. Like, I'm fine with it in that like it needs to occur. Yeah. I want nothing to do with it. I don't want to see it. I'm not curious about it. It horrifies me. Huh. Probably because it's like animals, people dying on screen. I'm like, entertainment.
Love horror movies,
isn't it?
Yeah. Really fascinating.
I totally agree. Totally. Yeah. It's because like my brain stopped working and I had to do something, and so I watched horror, and now it's like working again. I'm like, do I like this? I don't know. I don't know. It's nostalgic and comforting still. I don't know. Humans are weird. Brains are weird. Here we are.
We're weird.
We're weird.
Yeah.
Period. All right. Well, what are we talking about next week?
Oh, next week, we're going to spend some time in the 18th and 19th century New England talking about the vampire panic.
I have no idea if this is going to be interesting, but it sounds so interesting. And
There's
I'm really
no
excited
way it's not interesting.
To research
also,
it.
Just like New England and like paranormal things, like
love it.
They panic. They panic about the things.
They do panic about they do be panicking. I didn't know they were panicking like this, though, but it does not surprise me.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait. Very on theme. This is an excellent second theme for us.
Yeah, so fun. All right, we'll see you there.
Bye. Bye. Thanks for listening to another episode of Haunted Homebodies. Make sure you like and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
And remember, when in doubt, just stay home.